The DTCC, the XRP ledger, Peter Schiff's most recent outrageous prediction and whether he ever comes true, the SEC's new crypto task force, and whether restrictions will become more stringent. Among the subjects discussed in this episode are what's truly happening behind the scenes and the fact that Ripple is being attacked. But guess what? We're going to dive straight into today's jam-packed episode, so buckle up. All cryptocurrencies have a combined market capitalization of $2,735 million. Ethereum is up 6.61%, Bitcoin is up 1.44%, and both USDT and USDC are trading at their dollar pegs. XRP is up 3.11%, trading at a mean, lean $2.34. Where do we go from here? Well, people, let's just take a step back and watch for a while to see what happens. Will this be a little bit of a fake pump up before we get that correction back down? It might be, but we're not quite done yet. Keep in mind that for Bitcoin to invalidate this bearish action, it must rise to $90,000 and above $95,000, and for XRP to do the same, it must leave the $2.50 to $3 range. Until then, it is just chop. It is just noise. This brings to mind the time when Bitcoin was floating in the $90,000 to $100,000 range. At $90,000, it would pump to $98,000, and everyone assumed that was it. It would immediately drop back to $90,000. Keep an eye on that and those targets to gain a better understanding of where we're headed. The bull run is coming, so don't give up. It's a great opportunity if you're looking to buy more cryptocurrency. As I mentioned yesterday, I'm taking a break for the first time in probably 2.5 years. My weekly buys, though they were executed, will be cut off and stopped next week. I thought I did it, but apparently I didn't. I'll wait for this dip, which I think is coming, and then simply withdraw the money I've saved. You know, I buy $800 every week, so if I don't buy next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 4 weeks, I'll save that money for when the markets do decline. When I have the money saved up, I'll purchase everything at once. Let me get this. 2 days from now, on March 21st, the US SEC's Crypto Task Force will hold its first roundtable meeting to explore important topics related to the regulation of crypto assets. It's the second day of March Madness, and it will be streamed to the public. It will be interesting to see what will happen, and as we look at the cryptocurrency market as a whole, what are we seeing? Fear, fear, fear. The Crypto Fear and Greed Index has shown fear, with a score of about 30 to 34, which is up. The other week, we were looking at a score of about 10 to 15. Many people are unsure of where these markets will go, but you know that this is when generational wealth is created, and when there is fear in the markets, that's when you should be buying. When you should be setting yourself up to enter, which is what many whales are doing. The big money simply keeps buying, up, down, left, right, they don't care, they just keep on building up. Schiff Peter, there might be an 85% Bitcoin meltdown, he said. Look, is an 85% decline in Bitcoin possible? Although it has happened in the past when bull runs have finished, is an 85% decline in Bitcoin currently on the horizon? Yeah, dude, I don't think so. Will it be correct? We're heading there, yes. He projects that the value of Bitcoin will be approximately $65,000. He meets the 75-75K goals we are thinking about. Remember that. The question of why the chief risk officer of the DTCC would join a project based on the XRP ledger was raised by personal opinions. Boris Dockman recently joined the Xology Board of Advisors. Check out his thoughts on the use of DLT for the future of capital markets. So, as you can see from that LinkedIn grab, he said, we can choose to build that future. With that in mind, I'm joining a vision-driven team of the company that is building that future in an advisory role. Xology is the DLT fintech leading the adoption of tokenized financial instruments, remember ANDO, and tokenizing real-world assets on top of the XRP ledger, stocks, bonds, funds, you name it. Since I've been in the business since 2017, Bitcoin and Ethereum have been under attack. Everyone is terrified of XRP and what Ripple is doing, possibly because they have a legitimate company that is building on top of this incredible technology. BlackRock is already in partnership with them, and we are going to see everything move over to DLT. Now, we see the DTCC joining a project that is built out on top of the XRP ledger. The question is when. They spent years and years targeting XRP and gold, possibly because of all the money. And when we talk about all the money, we're talking about banks and governments who are working with Ripple and the XRP ledger, Bitcoin maxis, and Ethereum maxis. Peter Voss, 6. This is huge, folks. Silver Scott has announced that it is integrating Ripple's XRP and the XRP ledger into a regulatory-compliant RWA tokenization advisory business. The initiative leverages the benefits of XRP's ledger, such as near-instant settlements, minimal fees, and a built-in decentralized exchange for tokenized asset trading. Silver Scott has expanded into blockchain with a new Wall Street advisory firm based in New York City, which specializes in regulatory compliance mining tokenization. When the Ripple v. SEC dispute is ultimately resolved, they stated that the XRP ledger integration will have three main advantages: native DEX capabilities for increased liquidity, a regulatory-friendly architecture with sustainable operations, and quick and inexpensive transactions for institutional RWA transfers. We'll be able to state that the only blockchain in the U.S. that complies with regulations is XRP and its ledger. Negra Crypto released his color chart and stated, "Here is your range of support, sitting anywhere from about 210 to 230. That's the chop zone. It's really 2 to 250. We chop in heavy supply zone range resistance. Where is it all sitting? From 250 up to $3. It's the exact zone, the exact zone. Here's the chart, the exact region." We have been going over on this channel for quite some time. We are kind of stuck. We are kind of in no man's land, but it's going to break out. It's going to break through. Could we go to the downside? 100%. What is the lowest number that I want to see XRP reach and not fall under? How low will Bitcoin want to go? If it drops to between 65 and 75, we'll look at it again. If it drops further lower, perhaps even into the $50,000 zone to grab any remaining liquidity, that would put XRP in the $1.63 to $1.75 range. But don't lose sight of this, don't lose sight of it, don't be afraid. We know how this ends and where it goes, so now is the time to start gathering people who are afraid. XRP will be one of the major winners in this bull market.